Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Rico.
Tony.
And this is the podcast known as Relatively Sound, the butteriest podcast on the planet.
I'm so glad this is for a bonus.
Tony and I decided we had a little extra time today, and Tony is he's paying me back for inconvenience that he caused me for last week's episode. So
don't go there.
He told me we could do a little fun bonus episode. So I don't know when this is coming out. I'm probably going to save it for an episode down the road for when Tony and I don't have a chance to record one week and we need an episode. This will be it. So we decided I wanted him to react to a very short EP, and that's going to be the Counting Crows' most recent release called Butter Miracle Suite 1. It was released in 2021. They wrote it during the pandemic. It's 4 songs. It's a suite. So all the songs like go into one another. It's supposed to be like one whole piece of music. Spotify has though each song individual as well, but Tony and I are just going to listen to it like all the way through. And supposedly they're like doing the second part of the suite next year for an album release. So it might be like part 1 of a suite, or the next album could actually not be related to the suite at all. I don't want Tony to wait because it's not going to make sense, I think, on an album. So yeah, I think Tony should listen to this. And
yeah, you're showing me a suite. Just wait till I show you this Beach Boys record.
Oh God,
you think this is gonna be crazy? Just wait.
Yeah, so we're gonna hop into it. If this does get released, this will also be on YouTube. So if you're not watching on YouTube right now, go to our YouTube channel, Relatively Sound Podcast, to watch Tony's first reaction to the first ever suite on the podcast. I guess besides the suite on the Wilco album, Summer Teeth.
Oh my God! Don't even say that.
So
I'm gonna make you eat those words.
Let's go give it a listen. All right, that was the Butter Miracle Suite.
How can you say that to someone with a straight face? Here's the Butter Miracle Suite.
Yeah, I don't know.
Biggest rib I've ever heard, bro.
I don't know why he called the EP that. I don't know why. I mean, I guess he knew the title was so far-fetched and out there. He was like, we have to make the album cover just as equally far-fetched and out there.
I mean, I'm really not opposed to it. It's like one of those things where it's like so detached from what the album.
It's like sailing the seas of cheese.
Yeah, exactly. It's so whatever that you can't be mad at it. It's
they
just,
even,
you know.
I guess they did a vinyl. This is before I kind of got into them, like the year before. But when it was released in 2021, they released a vinyl version that was buttered colored.
Nice.
And it's like only like I think 500 or 1,000 copies, and it's like hell expensive now. Yeah, I had to get just a normal black one because it was like too expensive. I wouldn't even pay that much. Like it's like $500, and like recovering the satellites is like that much, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not paying that much for this EP.
Yeah,
so.
500 is I don't think many albums are gonna get that.
But okay, so this was kind of like Counting Crows' redemption after you not loving August and everything after, but loving Recovering the Satellite. So we only did this because we had extra time today. But
well, I didn't even tell you how I feel about it.
No, I know. I'm setting you up to let me know what you thought because.
Oh, I thought you were saying this was redemption.
No. I meant like this is their chance for redemption.
Yes, this is their chance for redemption. Now,
granted, August and everything after 90s. There's like 4 albums in between that you have not heard, which you will eventually.
Only 4 albums? Did you?
Yeah, I mean, the next album.
2 decades. They got 4 albums.
I mean, there's a covers album because there's This Desert Life comes after, then Hard Candy, Saturday Nights, Sunday Mornings, whatever the hell that one's called, and then Underwater Sunshine.
I would think for a band with so few albums, given how long they've been a band, I feel like they would do something a little more different than what I just heard.
Well, you will hear like. I feel like this was kind of a throwback. I feel like on the next Counting Crows album it's going to sound more like late 90s. And then when you hear Hard Candy, it's going to really sound 2000s-ish.
This sounds exactly like August and everything after, except just a lot better. It's like the deluxe version in the sense that their songs just got a lot more going on. The dynamics are more identifiable. Now the thing with Counting Crow songs that are always so hard is there's always like a billion chord changes, and they're always just like average chords, which is fine, but it makes it hard to kind of internalize the different sections and stuff. That's part of their sound. That's fine. But I feel like they were doing that, but the dynamics were a lot more prevalent. The production was really good. It did feel kind of like the Wilco album in the sense that it's kind of like, here's like the songs and then here's all the shit we're gonna put over it. I think this was always done in a really elevating sort of way. There was plenty of surprises. I think probably my biggest complaint is that it just really kind of fizzled out at the end. Like,
I will say my least favorite song is the last song, and I feel like it's really was trying to do the Bruce closing thing, but it was basically their version of Bruce's song Jungle Land, which you will get to hear on Born to Run, hopefully soonish. And I've never been a huge fan of Jungle Land, so this is like a worse version of Jungle Land. So yeah, it's this, Bobby and the Rat Kings is my least favorite out of these 4 songs for sure.
Yeah, I feel like especially after hearing the previous one. Let me look at this track list just so I can talk about it easier. After hearing Angel of 14th Street,
that's my favorite.
Rat just felt like a not as good version. Now it did kind of sound like something kind of along the lines of "Have You Seen Me Lately," where it's like very much a pop song, but it's like it does have a lot of energy. I will say, was it this one that had the most out of pocket, like slight drag in it? Hang on. Yeah, they just drag it down for like 2 bars and then they go back to it. Like, what a weird transition. That was the biggest plot twist on this.
That would be hard to pull off live.
Yeah. They pulled it off very well here, though. It was convincing. It just really took me by surprise. The second biggest surprise being the trumpet and guitar harmony part. Like, that was pretty unexpected, but that was pretty cool. Last song, 14th, Angel of 14th Street. Oh my god, it is all Bruce vibe, bro. Incident on 57th Street, Angel of 14th Street. That was definitely my favorite. It was a very exciting song front to back.
I just love the repeating of the wake up, or the get up. Like, that part is just so catchy. It gets stuck in my head all the time.
And on, I feel like on August, if this song was on August, they would save that until like the end of the song, but they decided to start doing that from the beginning as like a main hook. And that was great because their songs sometimes lack hooks for me. Where for me, they kind of need the hooks. Something that was interesting too is across these 4 songs, I feel like Adam was very consistent with his delivery. Like, his dynamic range wasn't so noticeable. Like, I didn't feel like he was like really getting absorbed into himself doing a whispery thing. I didn't feel like he was absolutely screaming his ass off. But I think that was actually pretty cool. I think that benefited the suite from making it, have a good flow.
I think
that's not a rag.
I think he wrote these songs during COVID, and I think he like wrote them all because he doesn't really play guitar. He only plays a little piano. So I think he just sat on piano and like wrote out the words and some of the chord progressions. And I think
did that for 20 minutes? 17 minutes?
Yeah, so I mean, I think like him writing like one long ass song kind of helped with like, and most of the song, like, there's not really like, it's not like, I mean, Tall Grass is, I think, like kind of like the slowest song, and then it kind of ramp up energy, and that's kind of why I think Bobby and the Rat Kings is our least favorite, because after Angel, I feel like the energy does drop down a little bit. So
it's just, how can you top that without completely doing something different? And it wasn't different enough.
Because I love the Tall Grass. I love how kind of dark it sounds at the beginning. It's kind of like ominous a little bit. And it has like a good dynamics, like you said, it builds. And then Elevator Blues is it's kind of a classic rock song. I know like the chorus you weren't like the biggest fan of for Elevator Blues.
I remember that one the least, just because it was and obviously this is just first listening to 4 songs in a row of a band that has a pretty uniform sound from what I'm familiar with on their records. Yeah. So,
but no, Elevator Boots, the more you listen to it, I think the more you'll like it. It's just a nice classic rock, easy listening song, kind of like an Eagles song, basically. Which I know some people will find that as like offensive and like a diss towards the Counting Crows.
But but everyone that doesn't listen to Counting Crows, if you call one of their favorite bands sound like the Counting Crows, then they would be offended and dissed on. So I feel like the Counting Crows are the people that can dish it because they have to take it.
Yeah. So now, do you think, because like I said, supposedly he was writing the second part of the suite, and they were going to put the 2 suites together and make it one album. But knowing the way that Counting Crows have kind of done stuff in the past, it's also a possibility that the album we're getting next year is actually an album full of different songs, and that they'll either finish the suite another time or they'll come forget about it. So, do you think they can somehow put another suite with this and make it a full project, or do you feel like this is a better one-off standalone EP?
I
Because
mean,
I think
it's hard to say because I imagine a big part of what would make it a suite to them would be some sort of lyrical connection. And on first listen, I didn't really pull too much from this. It's kind of weird, but the Counting Crows, I feel like even though I want to connect with the lyrics, I feel like mostly the lyrics that I enjoyed or got connected with were probably just the Recovering the Satellites one. Granted, this was a pretty fast-paced 4 songs. He's always thrown a bunch of lyrics, so I don't know. Maybe from a narrative they could do something, but I don't know. I think they should just leave it. I mean, these
I
songs
kind of
were
agree.
pretty similar enough where I feel like if they did something that was, I feel like for it to be interesting, they would have to do something pretty different from what we just heard. But I feel like for them, they're gonna lose the sweet essence if they do something too different.
Yeah, because like
That makes sense.
I feel like they could do this again. I feel like any band could actually, if they wanted to, write 4 songs that kind of blend into one another.
Right.
But then,
It's within reason.
but then if you just put those two suites together, like you said, unless there's something that's connecting with the lyrics, it'll just feel like an EP on one side of the album and then a different EP on the other side. One suite and
Which
then
if they
another
want to
suite.
do like a brother sister album type of thing, that's cool. I'm a fan of that, but I don't think they can really. I don't think it's really worth continuing the suite.
And as a fan, even because I actually really love this EP, like I got into when I was getting the Kind of Crows, and I'm like, oh, this is like the newest thing they put out. I listened to it, and I was like, oh, this is actually really cool. Like especially because their like last album before this, like their last full length album that wasn't a covers album, I liked, but it this actually feels like that last album, but done in a more cohesive way, a better way. So I'm really hoping the next album we get from them is actually like 10, 11, 12 brand new songs that all have kind of, I'm not saying I need a Recovering Satellites, but I want them to at least return to like a Hard Candy sound or this Desert Life sound, which I know to you that
So
you don't
you
know
say
those
that like
albums.
all their music is so vastly different, but like I
It's
don't see how that's possible. I feel like this sounds. I feel like all their albums kind of sound the same. I mean, I think the thing that really separates Recovering is the production, as I think I don't know, just a little more separation with the songs. But I mean, I
Trust me, when you hear this Desert Life, which that will be for sure the next Counting Crows album you get, I think the only song that doesn't is the one that you know from it already, which is Colorblind. Which I could see that as like August and Everything After type of song because it's a piano ballad. It's slow, it's somber, but every other song on this Desert Life is very. It has like the energy of Recovering the Satellites, but to me, it has like definitely different tones. It's not so like that '90s rock. It's kind of got a cool like acoustic upbeat sound to it. It's like a happy August and Everything After almost.
yeah, Accidentally Love is a good. It's a really solid pop song. Yeah.
And what I like most about it is that because he did a lot of interviews for like the Bittersweet Miracle thing because it was during COVID, so he was doing a lot of like radio
Track yeah, yeah.
shows and stuff. And I don't know if it was just in this quest, like how a lot of bands probably like here are the questions I want you to ask me. I don't want you to throw any curveballs. So like every question on every radio interview is the same. And he was asked multiple times, like, how was it doing the soundtrack for the Shrek movie? He was like, I loved it. Like, they took me to the movie studio and showed me like a rough draft of the movie and said, we're hoping for this type of song during like this scene. Then he said, I wrote it. And then he actually, I don't know if it won an Oscar,
Probably
but
got nominated for.
he got nominated. So he went to the Oscars and he's like, I love that, like, kids can get into our music through that song. He's like, I remember first watching Snow White when I was young, and that was like Disney's first movie. And he was like, um, kids' movies are one of the timeless things in the world. Like, kids' movies will always like be a gateway for kids to get into like to art and things like that. So it was kind of cool that he was just like yeah, I love doing it, and I'm glad so many people, and they started playing it live recently a lot more, and I think maybe it's that reason. So, well, okay, I'm glad we gave that a listen. and you'll be getting your next Counting Crows album probably sometime next year. I'm thinking next summer. And hopefully next year we'll have a new Counting Crows album that you and I can react to together for the first time. That'll be cool.
Yeah.
So drop us a comment. If you've heard this Counting Crows EP, let us know what you think of it. And until next time, we hope you take care and you'll be hearing from us soon. Bye bye.